You're good.
Okay, today I'll be talking about magic realism.
Okay.
Well, you stop.
You're in.
Harry Potter. That's so rude.
Okay, so what is magic realism? So I found two definitions in the dictionary. So the first one was painting in a meticulously realistic style of imagery, imaginary or fantastic scenes or images. And then the second definition was a literary genre or style associated especially with Latin America that incorporates fantastic or mythical elements into otherwise realistic fiction, also called magical.
Wait, Karen.
Damn,
I'm
Karen,
so
that's
sorry.
like the important stuff.
Yeah.
Don't make a new thing.
Yo, she's pulling a George.
Just post more
George.
That's too late now. Like, we already did so many.
Back to the presentation. It's hot in here.
Hold up. No?
So
Are
basically,
you on one?
it's an absolutely realistic setting or environment, and there is mythical or fantastical elements in it. So,
Let's keep going, go.
okay, so some history. It is Latin American narrative strategy, and it includes fantastic or mythical elements into realistic fiction. It was first applied in the 1940s by Alio Carpentier, who recognized this characteristic in much Latin American literature. So some of the characteristics that are linked to magic realism are the presence of magic which cannot be explained by typical notions of natural law, a realist description that stresses common everyday phenomena. It draws the readers between two views of reality, and the latter nearly merge. So there's the fantastical view and the reality, and they intertwine. And time is both history and timeless, so they don't always follow a chronicle order. And space is often challenged, so in different books, like space is not always the same, so like the setting. And it's usually used for and in the magic realism, they use allegories so that the realism is explained by the fantastical elements. So the use of magic realism, the objective of the magic realist is to bring us a fresh presentation, perception of the everyday world we live in, and everything we see is within the realm of the possible, although sometimes unlikely. So in the novel, I found a few things that, like a few elements that were related to magic realism. So the first one would be that the book is not read in a chronological order. Santiago dreams of soft rain, which it softly rains when he dies, so it's like a foreshadowing of his death, which is usually unlikely, like you don't dream of your death. The widower dies of sadness, so people don't normally die of sadness. Everyone knew of Santiago's destiny except Santiago. That is also an unlikely thing to happen. Victoria Guzman, disemboweling rabbits, which is like she's taking out the guts of the rabbits in front of Santiago. He reacts to that, and that's actually how he dies. So that's also something unlikely to happen. And the description of the brothel is depicted as a paradise instead of downgrading Maria's occupation. So all these elements are things that Gabriel incorporates in his novel as something that's completely normal, although we know it's a little bit mythical or not realistic. So I have two questions. The first one is, what other aspects of the novel reflect magic realism? What other aspects of the novel reflect magic realism?
All of them.
Nice.
What?
Can you go back to the slide?
That I mentioned?
You say please?
No, the other one.
The one about the magic
The
realism?
characteristics?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Did I mean like everything?
No, there's more.
Did I ever say what time?
Yeah,
It doesn't, right? Okay, that doesn't.
Yeah, say it.
Okay, say it. Well, go ahead, you have your hand up, it seemed like you wanted to say that.
yeah, I did.
But go ahead.
So like, there's no actual, like, they don't actually talk about time, so you don't know how much time actually passes by between events. And like, it could, like, you can imagine, like, since he's dying and things like that, it's just a couple matter of like a couple of days, couple of weeks, but you never actually know. It could be something that happens over a year, over 2 years.
So we can say that because the tale goes into flashbacks and flash forwards, and there's so many different perspectives or information given from different characters, that time is not very explicit.
Tell me about the setting.
What about this?
Yeah.
It doesn't really mention, like, it's not that described.
Yeah, there is no specific
Space
setting.
challenge.
Yeah. Okay, the town is not named.
We just
Yeah.
know it's next to like water where the
Coastal
fish
town,
passes by.
Okay, and it's kind of strange that it is unnamed.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you want?
Also, there's a lot, we didn't really talk about it in class meeting, but there are probably a lot of allegories. For example, the idea of like Santiago being the only one who doesn't know that he's gonna die. That like, you can relate it to, let's say, someone on their deathbed who everyone knows is gonna pass away, but they don't tell that person, where everyone knows that like, he's gonna die except him. But like, it's just the idea of allegories everywhere.
Are there, did you pick up on allegories in the novel? Or sorry, in the novella?
What's the difference?
Shorter.
That was a question she
No? What is an allegory, first of all?
Extended metaphor.
Hidden symbolism of something.
It's an extended metaphor.
It's an extended metaphor.
It's kind of like an extended metaphor.
What's that for?
However, it's all of the actions which occur are supposed to be symbolic of something.
Like the dreams.
So like, so just like when Victoria does the symbol, well, that's related to the.
Yeah, I don't think that.
The dream about the trees and the
Allegories
birds.
are live, like,
An allegory,
so like a big theme, a bigger theme?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll wait for that. It might, it'll come.
Dreams, dreams.
There's this whole idea that dreams come true.
Yeah.
Because obviously, after what,
What?
No, his mother.
his grandmother who tells a lot of stories and who's superstitious. So this whole like the dreams that his mom didn't interpret properly, the fact that he died, like dreams of soft rain, and then when he dies, there's soft rain. Like it's
Sure.
a symbol of not
There's also the idea that you can't trust anybody. There's only one person who decided to actually warn him that he was going to die, even though everyone knew about it. And I'm sure he had friends and things like that in the community. But the idea of not being able to trust anybody.
Okay, that's interesting. Even his mother, okay? Like, his
Yeah.
mother, she describes him as her one and only love, right? And yet she is the one who accidentally closes the door on him.
Wait, but we don't even know if that's accidental. Like she says to the
Oh,
narrator.
you think she did this on purpose?
No, well, we don't have answers.
Okay.
Like, the narrator just goes and asks people what they remember, so like, I'm not saying she wants to go.
Okay,
But behind it.
you have yet to be like macho if you're like the role of men in society.
Oh, that's my presentation.
Okay, sure.
Wait,
I think
what?
we're gonna hang off on that
Okay.
because
Please give us.
there's more
That's
to
mine.
it than just that, and I think it becomes a
That's mine.
superficial comment
There you
here.
go. So superficial.
But it needs, it will be deepened, okay?
I have one.
Now then,
You think it's cool.
Counselor, like, how you said yesterday, how the widow, like, how he died of sadness, it's like a symbol of how, like, love conquers, like, materialistic things.
sure. Yeah, and you know, it's kind of, again, that whole magical part, because it says he could, like, Bayaldo offers him such an absurd amount of money that he cannot,
Say no.
Say
Which is
no.
weird because someone
Don't-
should be able to.
Yes,
To have
but
the.
that he has no,
Real authority.
power in that
Someone offered
situation.
you $1 billion.
David, and then Taj.
Also the fact that everyone or the maid said that he already looked dead before he was dead. So this idea that how it also foreshadows that he was gonna be dead either way, and even if they don't think about it, it's still a symbol. So his outside, how he's viewed also foreshadows his death.
Okay,
Cat?
Taj?
They called Bayardo like
either angel or devil because he doesn't seem like real.
Yes.
Comes out of nowhere with money.
He is hugely exaggerated, right? Like he is that fairy, that perfect, almost godlike, right? And therefore, that's why Angela must marry him. Like for her to say no to him is also absurd because he's so good looking, so wealthy, and has such a power and status in society. Okay?
What is it?
Others? Diego?
I don't know if this has to do with magic, but like, I found it weird and interesting that at the end, like they kept on extending the death of Santiago. So like, they had
Yes.
stabbed him like several times more than
Yeah.
anybody should like resist, and they said no blood was coming out. And then he like would just walk through like a
He carried his
house,
guts.
Yes!
Like his guts came out, he picked them up.
and he's like,
Just
they have
walked around
killed
his
me,
house.
and then he finally.
Yes.
He-
So, like,
His guts, you're right, come out, they drop onto the floor and he has to pick them up and like dust them off.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
He
Yeah.
does. He dusts off the dirt. And then he's holding them, described, and it's described like a bundle of roses. Like,
Beautiful.
intestines are not bundles of roses, but that's how it's described in a very beautiful, strange manner.
So like the
Right?
fact that they, Gabrielle has like the real and the mythical and like this big stream of storyline is what makes it, like emphasizes the weird,
Yeah,
although he's trying not to.
yeah.
And also when like one of the twins was like the first one was about to stab him, he said that Santiago looked like twice as big or something like that.
Yeah.
Like just exaggerating. Yeah, and then like with his bare hands, he's just
Isn't
like.
that water?
Yes. Good. So, just to make sure we understand, naturalism
Travels
is,
the whole way into another class.
guys,
Water.
just to make sure we understand, naturalism is the regular world with strange and fantastical ideas, but it's accepted, okay? This idea that those strange things are just a way of life, okay? So if you read his other books, like 100 Years of Solitude, this child is born with a pig's tail.
What?
Yes, and he just has his pig's tail and everybody just accepts it.
He's done.
Like the fact that all these coincidence, oh, it's just a coincidence, they make it.
I'm like, he has a pigtail?
Good